Welcome class 12th. Here we are going to proceed for the next part of chapter 4, the enemy. Let's now see the chapter. Dear children, in the previous part you've come to know when the doctor was treating the enemy and after his operation, it was the 7th day. The two things happened in the house of Dr. Sadao. All the servants, they left together their work. Hannah paid them well, gracefully, and thanked them for their service. But in the afternoon, there came a messenger to their door in the official uniform. Hannah got scared to have the messenger in their home. She feared that the servants must have told everything to the army of their country. So she thought they had come to arrest Dr. Sadao. In fact, the messenger had come to call Dr. Sadao for the medical treatment of the army general of their country. Let's see what happened next in the story. Sadao goes to see the journal. Of course, the journal said weakly, I understand fully, but that is because I once took a degree in Princeton, so few Japanese have. When Sadao went to the palace for treating the journal for his illness, he narrated the entire story about the enemy to the journal. The journal, who was looking quite weak, but he replied he understood Sadao's position as a doctor. He said he had also studied himself from Princeton University, America. He also said a few Japanese have taken their education from America. I care nothing for the man, Excellency, Sadao said, but having operated on him with such success. Now Sadao expressed his loyalty for his country. He said he never cared for the American man, but he never knew that he could operate upon him with such grand success and could save his life. Yes, the journal said, it only makes me feel you more indispensable to me. Evidently, you can save anyone. You're so skilled. You say you think I can stand one more such attack as I have had today. Not more than one. Indispensable means essential or important. Hereby, the general interrupted Sadao by saying, Yes, he did believe the same. He applauded the doctor for his skills. He said he could save anyone's life. That's why he was the essential part of the journal's life too. Then he inquired from the doctor if he would have another heart attack like that day. Is there was any chance of his survival or not? Not more than one, Sadao said. To this, Sadao replied that in his opinion, the journal could not survive with more than one such heart attack. His life was quite critical. Then certainly I can allow nothing to happen to you, the journal said with anxiety. Anxiety means worry. Now to listen about his critical state. The journal got scared. He said in that case that he could die, he would never allow anything to happen to the doctor. His long, pale Japanese face became expressionless, which meant that he was in deep thought. You cannot be arrested, the journal said, closing his eyes. Suppose you were condemned to death and the next day I had to have my operation. Condemned to death, that means sentenced to death. The journal got worried about his health. The journal said in that condition he won't allow anything to happen to Dr. Sadao. He would do everything to save his life. While talking, the journal's long, weak, yellowish face became expressionless as he was thinking about the doctor being arrested. He became quite serious and closed his eyes at the thought of Sadao being arrested. And then he declared Sadao could never be arrested. Furthermore, he added that if Sadao was sentenced to death and he would need the operation the very next day, then who would have preyed upon himself? So the journal wanted to say that he needed the doctor and so he would protect him and would never let anything happen with the doctor. There are other surgeons, excellences, Sadao suggested. At this, Sadao gave suggestion to the journal that there were many other surgeons in Japan who could save his life. None I trust, the journal replied. The best ones have been trained by Germans and would consider the operation successful. Even if I died, I don't care for their point of view. The journal replied that he didn't trust any doctor else Dr. Sadao. He added that the best surgeons of their country had been trained by the Germans, and for them, the operation would be successful even if the journal would die. So he said he never believed them and their viewpoint. He sighed. It seems a pity that we cannot better combine the German ruthlessness with the American sentimentality. Then you would turn your prisoner over to execution, and yet I could be sure you would not murder me while I was unconscious. Ruthlessness means harshness or cruelty. Sentimentality, that is the quality of being too much sentimental. Execution, that is the act of killing. Here, the journal showed his confidence on the doctor. He said the people who have got the training from America, they are quite sentimental in comparison to the doctors who have got the training from the German ruthlessness, who used to believe in treating the patient even by killing them. He said, being the Japanese, he was not going to combine the harsh nature of the Germans with the emotional touch. Moreover, the journal showed more his faith on the doctor by saying, suppose if he would sentence the doctor for the execution, then again he said he was sure that the doctor was not going to murder him even in the condition of his unconsciousness. So he said that even in his fainting condition, the doctor was not going to murder or kill him. The journal laughed. He had an unusual sense of humor. As a Japanese, could you not combine these two foreign elements? He asked. By showing his trust on the doctor, the journal laughed at his own statement. The writer says here that the journal had a strange sense of humor. He was quite witty. He asked Sadao that being Japanese, he was not going to combine the two foreign elements. So, the foreign elements to which the journal is referring is the harsh nature of the German and the emotional nature of the Americans. And he knew it very well that as the doctor had been trained from Americans' sentimentality, so he would try his best to save his life in every condition. Sadao smiled. I'm not quite sure, he said, but for your sake, I would be willing to try. Excellency, Sadhu smiled at the comment of the journal and said, though he was not quite sure, but he would do his best for the recovery of the journal. The journal shook his head. I had rather not be the test case, he said. While nodding his head, the journal said that he knew that he would never be the test case for the doctor. He knew about his skills, and surely the doctor would save his life. He felt suddenly weak and overwhelmed with the cares of his life as an official in times such as these. One repeated victory brought great responsibilities all over the South Pacific. Overwhelmed, that means full of emotions, cares of his life, that means the problems and the responsibilities of the journal which he was facing for his nation. South Pacific, that is the part of the Pacific Ocean that lies in the southern hemisphere. The journal started feeling himself to be quite weak and worried about his personal health. As he was reminded about the cares and responsibilities which he had to face throughout his life while fulfilling his duties and responsibilities for his nation to fight the wars against the other nations. Being the army colonel of such a powerful nation and winning so many victories had brought the great responsibilities and worries upon the journal. It is very unfortunate that this man should have washed up on your doorstep, he said irritably. I feel it so myself, Sadhu said gently. Irritably, that means showing anger. After giving vent to self-absorption and personal cares, the journal started showing his anger and said it was the bad luck of the doctor that the injured man reached his house. Sadhu also agreed with him. It would be best if he could be quietly killed, the journal said, not by you, but by someone who does not know him. I have my own private assassins. Suppose I send 2 of them to your house tonight or better, any night. Assassins means the killers. Here, the journal gave a suggestion to the doctor that it would be the good solution if the enemy would be killed. In the meanwhile, the journal gave suggestion that it would be the best solution to get rid of the enemy by killing the man quietly. He suggested that the doctor need not kill the enemy, but this work would be done by his assassins, that means his hired killers. Suppose I send 2 of them to your house tonight, or better any night. You need know nothing about it. It is now warm. What would be more natural than that you should leave the outer partition of the white man's room open to the garden while he sleeps? Now, the journal invented a secret plan of killing the enemy. He suggested to the doctor that he would send 2 killers at Sadhu's house that night or another night, and the doctor need not make to show about this plan. As the weather was quite warm those days, he wanted Sadhu to act normally and only keep the door of the outer partition of the man's room open at night. As that door opened into the garden, it would give the easy access to the killers to enter into his room while the man would be sleeping every night. Hereby, Sadhu agreed with this plan. He said it would seem quite natural to kill the enemy that way. He further said that they used to leave the door of the outer partition open every night. Good, the colonel said, yawning. They are very capable assassins. They make no noise and they know the trick of inward bleeding. If you like, I can even have them remove the body. Yawning here means to feel sleepy. The colonel was quite exhausted with the talk with the doctor. He felt sleepy. He said it was a good thing if he was keeping the door open. He commented that the killers were good experts. Still, he praised about his assassins. He said they were experts in their work. Even while murdering the man, they never produced a single sound. And also, they killed the person in such a way there would be bleeding inside the body. And even they never left any trace of blood on the body. He also suggested the doctor if he would insist he was going to remove the dead body of the enemy from his house. Sadhu considered that perhaps would be best, Excellency. He agreed, thinking of Hannah. Now thinking about his wife Hannah, Sadhu agreed to the plan and said that would be quite good. Hansi agreed with the plan of the journal. He left the journal's presence then and went home, thinking over the plan. In this way, the whole thing would be taken out of his hands. Now thinking about his planning with the journal, Sadhu left the journal's palace. But on the way back home, he was again pondering about his planning with the journal. But he thought it would be the best idea to get rid of the man, and his name won't be involved in the killing of the American. He was assured this would be the best to get rid of the enemy. In this way, his name won't be exposed before anyone. He would be safe. He would tell Hannah nothing, since she would be timid at the idea of assassins in the house, and yet certainly such persons were essential in the absolute state such as Japan was. Timid, that means coward or shy or nervous. Absolute state, that is the rule or the government having the total power. Now, Sadhu also made up his mind that he would never tell Hannah anything about his plan, as she would get scared of the idea of the killers coming to their house. But he thought in his mind such persons were essentials in the place like Japan. How else could rulers deal with those who oppose them? So he understood such assassins are quite essentials for the rulers to deal with those who are against them. Though his thoughts were quite muddled due to the planning with the journal, but the moment he was going to enter into the room of the enemy, he did not let any thought to disturb his mind. When opened the door, he was surprised to find the man was out of his bed and he was getting ready himself to go out into the garden. "What is this?" he exclaimed. "Who gave you permission to leave your room?" The doctor was shocked. He shouted at the enemy patient. He asked who had permitted him to stand and walk. He refused to allow anything but reason to be the atmosphere of his mind as he went into the room where the American was in bed. But as he opened the door, to his surprise, he found the young man out of bed and preparing to go into the garden. I'm not used to waiting for permission, Tom said gaily. Gosh, I feel pretty good again, but will the muscles on the side always feel stiff? Gaily means cheerful. Stiff means hard. Tom was looking quite happy. He replied cheerfully to the doctor he was not in the habit of taking for permission before doing anything. He said he was feeling quite better now. He complained that the muscles on the sides of his body were stiff and rigid. He inquired whether there would be recovery or not. Is it so? Sadhu inquired. Surprised, he forgot all else. Now I thought I had provided against that, he murmured. He lifted the edge of the man's shirt and gazed at the healing scar. Sadhu again got worried and was surprised to hear about his pains. Now he forgot all about his planning and said he had already warned the man not to stand and walk. He then lifted the man's shirt and started inspecting his scar. Massage may do it, he said, if exercise doesn't. The doctor suggested with the massage that stiffness could be improved. If the exercise is not helping, it won't bother me much, the young man said. His young face was gaunt under the stubbly blonde beard. Say, doctor, I've got something I want to say to you. If I'd not met a Jap like you, well, I would not be alive today. I know that. Gaunt means very thin, usually because of illness. Stubbly, that is short stiff hair on the face when it is not shaved in routine. Blonde, that is yellowish color. However, the man replied that the scars didn't bother him. While talking, this his young, bearded face was looking quite weak. He thanked Dr. Sadhu and said if he had not met the doctor that day, he would have certainly died. Sadhu bowed, but he couldn't speak. Sadhu only bent his head down and didn't reply. Sure, I know that, Tom went on warmly, his big thin hands gripping a chair's were white at the knuckles. I guess if all the Japs were like you, there would not have been a war. Knuckles are the joints in your fingernails. They become prominent when you clench your hands into the fist. Here, the Tom further said he was sure about his death. While talking, he was holding the chair tightly with his thin hands. His knuckle turn seemed to be white in color. This indicated that he was still weak and need more recovery. Tom further added that if all the Japanese people would be like Dr. Sadhu, there would be no war in the world. Perhaps, Sadhu said with difficulty. Now I think you had better go back to bed. He helped the boy back into bed and then bowed good night, he said. When Tom was expecting that everyone should be like Dr. Sadhu, there would be no war in the world. At this, Sadhu replied with difficulty. That might be true. He further suggested the man should go to bed. Then he held the enemy to lay in his bed, and then bowed before him and bade him good night. Sadhu slept badly that night. Time and again he woke thinking he heard the rustling of footsteps, the sound of a twig broken, or a stone displaced in the garden, a noise such as man might make who carried a burden. Rustling is the sound made by light footsteps. Twig, that is a branch of the tree. Displaced, that means moved from its usual position. Burden here means dead body. Here it is explained it was a restless night for Sadhu. He could not sleep that night as he was feeling that the hired killers of the journal had come to kill the enemy. He imagined the different sounds in his house. Time and again, he imagined hearing the disturbing sounds in the atmosphere. Sometimes he woke up with the disturbing sound of the footsteps, and sometimes he heard the sound of the breaking of the twig, and sometimes his sleep was broken due to the displacement of a stone in the garden. He even imagined hearing the sound of some men were coming and carrying the burden along with them. He imagined it would be the dead body of the American. Hence, all this anxiety kept him awake throughout the night. The next morning, he made the excuse to go first into the guest room. If the American were gone, he then could simply tell Hannah that so the journal had directed. But when he opened the door, he saw at once there on the pillow was a shaggy blonde head. He could hear the peaceful breathing of sleep, and he closed the door again quietly. Shaggy, that means dirty and untidy. Here it is explained one in the morning, Sadhu made the excuse to go into the American man's room. At first, he had made the planning. If the man was gone, he would tell everything to his wife, what the journal had directed him to do. But when he opened the door, he found the man was still there. He found the head of the enemy with his long and untidy hair lying on the pillow. Even he could hear the calm breathing and peaceful sleep of the man. Then, seeing the man sleeping, the doctor closed the door quietly again. He is asleep, he told Hannah. He is almost well to sleep like that. He informed Hannah the man was sleeping and he is quite well to sleep peacefully now. What shall we do with him? Hannah whispered her old rough friend. Sadhu shook his head. I must decide in a day or two, he promised. Referent is a word or a sound that is repeated time and again. Hereby, Hannah again asked the husband what they should do with the man. Sadhu shook his head and now gave assurance to the wife he would decide about him within 1 or 2 days. I hope you have well understood the explanation. Thank you for watching the video.